So day 60 of my aquaponics setup. So here's here's my tank. Here's my grow bed, my water pump. If you guys watch my previous videos, you've already seen my setup already. So yeah, it's day 60. Just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update of how this tank is doing so far, and this tank is thriving very well so far. The fish are all getting along. The shrimp are actually doing incredible. They actually had a bunch of babies. Um, and they've got a huge family going on. And then some of the tetras, you can see them in the background over there. They actually ate some of the babies. It was actually kind of brutal to watch. Nature is extremely metal. But again, that's why I got the shrimp, because I wanted them to have babies so that my fish had a natural food source. They didn't eat all the babies, so there's still some like little baby shrimp swimming around. Let me see if I could find any, like, yeah, like that, like these two guys right over here. They started out as really tiny baby shrimp, and they sat and watched their siblings get absolutely massacred by those guys over there. No, they went into hiding. So yeah, so the fish tank is doing extremely well. It's doing exactly what I wanted to do, which is to have a natural ecosystem. A natural ecosystem that takes care of itself. There's a food web in there. There's all sorts of detritus worms and other microfauna within the tank. I'll see if I can find any worms along the glass. I don't know if you'll be able to see them because they're really tiny. Yeah, but within the substrate itself, besides the shrimp, there's a lot of tiny microorganisms, little micro worms that help eat the decaying leaves. Like this over here is a shrimp. There's a snail somewhere in the background, who helps process food as well, and all of it goes to feed the fish, and the fish go ahead and poop and feed the plants, and the plants go ahead and provide oxygen and feed other microfauna as well. I'm gonna go see if I can entice my ember tetras out a little bit. Now, when you have ember tetras are extremely small. So even with this bug bites formula that it's made for small fish, you can see it right there. Their mouths are extremely tiny. So you kind of have to just grind them up in a powder. Otherwise, they struggle to eat it. Now, I don't know if this is all ember tetras, but at least my ember tetras, they only eat food that is floating. So I have to feed them very slowly. I can't just dump the food in there, because otherwise it all just sinks to the bottom, and then my fish starve. So I've got to add it slowly. So the most important thing right now is to make sure that they can eat it quickly. So I've got to grind it up into dust, into a very fine powder. And I use this little PVC pipe fitting. It's been incredible for that. So once this is a nice fine powder, it can be a little finer. I normally do this two hands, so it's going to take me a little bit slower. I've got to slowly entice them out. So now they like to hide behind this piece of driftwood. So I'm going to see if I can entice them out by putting a little bit at a time. So you can see it floats at the surface and then slowly comes down. All right. Oh, so this one, usually when one finds food, they all find food. Yep, there they go. They found the food and they're gonna start eating now. So now that they found the food, I can go ahead and add more food in. And then watch the tetras eat. Sorry, it's a little hard to see because of the reflective glass, but you can see, yep, they found the food. They are happy, they're swimming, they're darting around, trying to get as much food as possible. Adding a little bit more food in at a time, alright? And there you go. Watch my little guys eat. So you can see they're kind of avoid even the bigger chunks, even though I've grinded it into dust, into a powder. They still sort of avoid the bigger ones. They go for the smaller ones first, the ones that they can't eat. Now, when there are only big chunks, they do chew on them, but it's a lot of effort for them because, again, these are really tiny fish. These guys don't get bigger than 1 inch. Like what you're seeing right now, that's pretty much as big as they're ever going to get. So you have to make it as easy for them to eat as possible. Yep. And once they finish eating, oh nope, they're not done eating. They're coming back for seconds. They're coming back for seconds and thirds. So yeah. And so you'll notice once the food hits the bottom, they don't even touch the food on there. The food has to be floating. And they don't go to the surface, they eat whatever is in the middle of the water column. Like there is plenty of food up top, but they're never gonna go towards it. They're gonna wait for it to come to the bottom. Maybe if they're extremely starving, they'll go hunt after the food on top. But there's enough micro food, there's enough microfauna, there's enough worms and other baby shrimp floating in here that they're not gonna go rushing to the surface for that food. And then once everything's said and done, I'm gonna let that sit for a little while. Then I'm gonna go ahead and hit that with a net and a gravel vac to just get rid of some of that food because this is a lot of food, you know. So yeah, so you can see my tank mates are doing very very happy. You know, the fish have a lot of food, the shrimp have a lot of food. I got some auto sinklets in here as well. He's just hanging out right over there. I got another one somewhere. But yeah. The auto sinklets, they're just hanging out and they're just waiting for a chance to clean more algae. I love these guys. They're so peaceful. All they do is just sit around and then go eat. As far as my grow bed is concerned, you can see I actually had my first harvest about a week ago and these things were growing completely out of control. Gigantic leaves and I ate them and it tasted really good. It felt really good to actually grow my own food. So I've got 4 beet spinach plants in here. I waited till there was about 9 or 10 leaves from each one and then I clipped until there were only 3 left on each plant. You can see the clippings are the edge of the clippings are right there. So the plants are growing extremely well. The system is doing incredibly well, like way better than I had ever imagined it could be. So I'm very, very happy with the system. Everything's doing well. I do have to play around with the piping because now one thing I didn't expect was that water pump back there, because there's so much algae and other fish poop and so much going on. That little water pump, that little $5 water pump constantly gets clogged. So about once a week or every other week, I have to take it apart and completely clean it. It's not a difficult process. It takes me about 5 minutes. But then this line over here gets completely covered in gunk and algae. You can see some right over there. And that completely slows down the water flow. So right now I just cleaned it so the water flow is strong. So I have to slow it down. Because when it comes straight down this pipe, it's too much for the fish. And then they all get stressed and they go into hiding. But with this, I've got just enough surface level agitation and air bubbles that the water stays aerated very, very well, which is very, very important because you can't just rely on the plants for oxygen. You have to mix it from the atmosphere as well. All right, so that's my little update for now. I got plenty of thriving shrimp, lots of tetras. They're swimming around, they're eating. I got the autos going. I've got a snail somewhere. Oh, yep, he's right over here. So this guy actually snuck in. This is a bladder snail. He snuck in as a baby in the substrate. I considered getting rid of him because of how fast these guys can multiply, but then he started cleaning my tank. And he's done such an amazing job cleaning this tank that I have to keep him around. There is no reason to get rid of him. Now, if he starts to breed out of control, I gotta do something about the babies. But for the time being, I'm more than happy to keep him around. It's actually kind of cool too. So you can see like their mouths as it moves across the glass and it scrapes the algae off the glass. Like, I don't clean my glass at all. There's some algae buildup here and there, but because of this guy and my autos, they do such a great job of cleaning my tank that I can't get rid of him. So if you see these guys in your tank, I would say be careful because of how fast they can breed. Like one can be 100 in the span of 30 days. That's how fast these guys breed. But this guy right over here, when I first got him, he was he was no bigger than these rocks, and then now he is like the size of a boulder, just slowly swimming across the glass. Come on, focus. So this guy's done. He was such an accidental addition, but he's done such a good job. So if you see a snail, just remember they are your friends, and they're here to just clean your glass for you. That's my update. If you guys have got any questions, let me know. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this video off now so I can get rid of some of this food, because it's definitely a little bit too much food in there right now. All right. Hope you all have a great rest of your day.